some of the use cases about parameters. And I want you to think about your own use cases as well. First, the user provided goals and targets. Before the introduction of parameters, if we created a report for the business, for the clients, where at some part of the report, we wanted to show a target or a goal, so that when they are viewing the report, they could easily compare what they are seeing in their tool, in their marketing tool, to the goal that they had set in advance. We had to have a meeting with the client. We had to ask about the goals, the targets, the values, and we needed to go back to the report and hard code those values, write them somewhere, incorporate them into the calculations. But as soon as parameters were introduced, now we can have a control on the page and get the value directly from the user without the need to do anything special on the report itself afterwards, or have it any email correspondence or any meeting with the client. And they can change their mind anytime they want. They can give us a default value to put there, but every time they refresh the report, every time that they see the report, they can put a new value to see what the result would be. Another one is calculations with user provided values. Possibly those are not goals and targets, but any business, they have some kind of logic, some kind of ways they want to calculate their KPIs or the different numbers that is important to them. And to perform these calculations, some of the input could be hard-coded, some constant numbers. Some values can come from live data sources, and some values can come from the user at the time that they are viewing the calculation. We can put the logic in the form of a custom field in the report, help them get data from live sources, and allow them to enter the final piece, which is the parameters to perform these custom calculations. Forecasting and projection. Because of, and we can see how it works, we can use parameters to create kind of mini tools to help users forecast kind of case scenarios. What if we do this? What if we can increase this number by this much? What if we invest this much in doing something? Like kind of this what if scenarios, the ABC scenarios, and they can custom project, enter different input and forecast the output based on different types of projections that we create for them. Dynamic metrics and dimensions and charts. So far, whatever chart that we created, a table, a time series, we decided what would be the dimension, what would be the metric. And the user could use controls to change it a little bit. But even with parameters, we can change the dimension. We can allow the user to change the dimensions and metrics applied to the chart. And it's different from optional metrics. This is something that we can see how to do. And custom and connected calculators, which I briefly talked about in the forecasting and projection. But anyway, just think about it. It is so powerful. With no other tool that I know of, you can so easily and quickly connect to many different data sources live on the internet, extract data from them, hard code your logic, the functions that you want to apply to this data, get user input, and output the result in the tabular, in the visual, and the text and number format. You need to know programming, you need to know JavaScript and HTML and CS, and you need to know how to create a tool from scratch. And all of these connectors, all of these functionalities, all of these interactions, and everything is already available to us in Data Studio for free and just without any coding. This is the power of parameters. And finally, we can use parameter to create a dynamic query from Data Studio over a BigQuery dataset. This is something that I just wanted to mention today. We are not going to dive really deep into this aspect. We can talk a little bit more about it in the BigQuery session. But if you're someone who wants to take a look at BigQuery and learn it, or you're already using it with your reports, know that you can create dynamic queries against BigQuery using parameters. And we'll see some examples, but we don't really go really deep on that.